I got not one but two digital gift cards to give away. Settle in, let's kick this video off so I can tell you all about it. Every now and then somebody reaches out to me for a collaboration, and that was the case with LV427 Designs. Now I was familiar with their work, but they hit me up and asked if I wanted to check out some of their stuff and be interested in working with them. I hopped on their website and they've got so much cool stuff on there. They got all kinds of like sci-fi tiles where you can build interiors of spaceships, hangars, buildings, tons of super cool terrain that's useful for games like Space Hulk, Starfinder, Warhammer 40k, any sort of like RPG based in the sci-fi world. But what really caught my eye was their aliens themed stuff. Not only because I'm a huge fan of aliens, but also because I'm currently playing Alien Isolation on PC, and I'm also playing an Alien RPG game run by my good friend Eddie, who just so happened to kill me last game, so thanks for that.
Yeah, so essentially, it opened up, the jittering maw comes out, and there's a and it drives through your helmet. Your helmet doesn't slow to blow at all, and pierces right into your brain, Captain Silva, instantly killing you.
I knew right away that I wanted to go with the Aliens theme set because I had in my mind a vision of doing a DVD/diorama display, sort of like I did for the Harry Potter one a while back, but I want to put a bit of a spin on it because I always wanted to play Space Hulk and get into that game, but I never ever had the opportunity. And considering Space Hulk was super inspired by aliens, I figured this was the perfect time to incorporate that into one of my builds. So I went ahead and I did that. I'm really excited to show this project to you. But before we kick this project off, I'm going to let you know how you can grab some of those coupon codes. I'm going to give away one in week 1 and give away one in week 2. And all you got to do is let me know in the comments what your favorite Aliens movie was and be a subscriber to the channel, and that's it. So without any further ado, let's get into it. The first thing I did was grab my Alien Collector Set DVD. And the plan was to measure this thing up and create a box and some 3D modeling software that I was going to use as a base. I had to make this in 4 pieces in order for it to work with my printer. Then I just made a little box here about the size of the DVDs and used a Boolean modifier to cut a hole in these 4 sections so I can slide the DVDs in and out. And I made sure to make it a little bit bigger than the DVD so it would fit. Next up, I imported some letters, made a little plaque and put it on the side here, and the plan was to put some lights in behind this to make that glow. Then I put a little hole here in my battery box cover to accept the switch, and the batteries and the wiring was going to go in the back. Then I used some cylinders and some Boolean modifiers to make some holes in the internals of this thing so I can pull the wires easily. Then I took the LV427 tiles, made sure they matched up, and lined them up nicely with the bottom of the base here. Took some more cylinders and put some more holes in my base so that I can run some wires up, and the plan was to make some emergency lights. And the holes went through here, and after that all these pieces were pretty much done and ready to go, ready to be printed up. I jumped on to Papsikels because he's got some awesome xenomorph minis, and to tell this story I really had to make sure that I had lots of aliens here. So I printed these on my resin printer, and I basically threw 4 aliens on the bed and oriented them until I had them in good position. Then I threw on a couple eggs and this dude with a chest burster here. And after I got that ready, I think this print was going to cost me about $1 and run a little over 4 hours. All the alien minis are loaded up on the flash drive and I'm ready to put it in the printer, but before I do that I'm going to show you guys what it looks like when you leave resin in your printer for like a month before cleaning it out. As you can see, it really starts to do this like separating thing. You can see those different colors, and right down at the bottom here you can see it's kind of like coagulated a bit. So I'm going to take this out of here and show you how to clean this up. If you want to know more about how I clean this, I'm going to link the video up here in the corner. But the key is to get all that gunk off the base of the FEP here. Top the back up with resin. And got ready to print some xenomorphs. The prints came out pretty good. One of them had a missing leg and a missing arm, and the other one had a problem with his hand, but I figured I was going to use those as casualties in this diorama. I figured that'll just add to the story. These things were pretty tough to get off the base here. Really stuck on, and I had to be careful as I was cleaning up the supports because the limbs on these xenomorphs are really fragile and I didn't want to break anything. Washed in 70% IPA. And then cured for about 6 minutes. That guy bailed and jumped off, so I had to open it back up, set them back in place, and get going again. Here they are, looking pretty good and super detailed. Then it was time to paint them. If you want this full painting process of these xenomorphs, I'll link that video up in the corner here now. You can check out how this was done. Even painted up some of these eggs. And this dude with the chest burster. Just some super simple contrast paints on this guy to get them done quickly. Now why space up with it? A few good Terminators. I got these old school ones from the Dark Vengeance box set. They're Dark Angels, but we're going to paint them up like Blood Angels while everything is printing over there and get them ready to go into the diorama and kick some alien ass. If you want to see the full painting video for these Blood Angel Terminators, I'll link that up in the corner now and you can check it out. These things came out really nice for the amount of time that it took to do them. While that was going on, I sliced up and printed all the LV427 tiles. They took about 14 hours each, cost about $4 each. Hey guys, if you're liking this video, hit that like button. I really appreciate it. It really helps out these videos. Thanks a lot. It's projects like this that I really wish I had 2 printers. Overall, this took about roughly 80 hours over 6 prints and cost about $24. Then I changed out to some transparent filament because there was a couple of window casings that I wanted to print in like a transparent color. And once they were done, that was all the stuff from LV427 Designs. These things go together really nicely and they're super modular and you can do all kinds of fun shapes and styles with them. I was really impressed. When I actually got these things in my hand, I got to look at them and like see all the details with the computer equipment, the tanks and the gear, the detail on the walls and the floor. Man, these things are awesome. I'm going to link down below where you can go to their website or their Patreon and get these things. These are sweet tiles. I highly recommend them. I thought they were really cool. But I couldn't leave them orange, so I had to prime them up and start painting them. This is where an airbrush comes in handy. If you guys are thinking about getting an airbrush, I'm going to link a video up in the corner here where I give my opinion on what you should look for when getting a new airbrush. But painting these tiles with an airbrush is the way to go because man, it was super fast to do this. If you were trying to fill out a full table, this is the way to go. I went in with some gunmetal color here and just like spackled and dry brushed and kind of scraped up the floor to make it like a little bit of wear. And then I went in with some Nolan oil and washed this entire thing. You probably don't need to do this step, but I just wanted to make that really dark look like the alien ships had in the movies. And I pretty much used almost a full bottle of wash on this project. Next up, I painted the tanks, one red and one blue. Then I went ahead and started painting up all the details like the desk and the computer equipment. Even these little leaflets and pieces of paper on the desk here. They use some washes to grunge up these tanks, and they even give them a little dry brush once that was dry to like get some scratches in there with some metal colors. All good sci-fi movies got green computer screens, so that's what I did with all the TVs and computer screens. I just dry brushed in some dark blue on this shit that the aliens puts all over walls, and then hit it with a really heavy coat of glass varnish with my airbrush to give it that like wet, shiny look. And after that, these tiles were pretty much all done. While I was painting all that though, I was printing the box that I designed. I done this thing in 2 prints. Both of them were like big time prints. Took about 80 hours again, cost about $32 worth of filament. And here are the alien logos in transparent. Finally, all the 3D printed parts that I designed are done, and for the most part they were pretty good. But I did run into a bit of a weird thing here where these ones layer shifted a little bit on their print, and it looks like the first couple of layers might have shifted. This one is not so bad. This one's a little more rough. I think that I can save these prints. I really don't want to print it again because it was a lot of filament, so I think I'm just going to add like weathering and battle damage to the paint job that I do for this base here. My alien logos came out nice and clean, my battery box cover. So the next thing I got to do is get this glued together and paint it up. First thing I did was remove all the supports. Guys, the facility is almost at 10,000 subscribers, which absolutely blows my mind. I'd love to have you guys join the facility. Smash the subscribe button so you can be entered in the giveaway, and let me know what your favorite Aliens movie was. I decided to use hot glue to put this together because it's fast, and I actually find that it holds FDM parts pretty tightly. Now, my Aliens logo didn't fit in correctly because there was a bit of an offset between these two parts. So I heated it up with the heat gun to make the FDM more malleable, and then I kind of jammed it in place and managed to make it fit. And I also made these little flat sections just to help hold the whole thing together. Next up, I primed the whole thing, and then I hit it with some Rust-Oleum truck bed liner to give it like a textured finish. 2 coats of this stuff, and it was looking pretty cool. Then using a sponge, I just spackled and scratched up this surface using some Boylei metal cover silver paint. This gave it a really worn out look. It turns out I made a mistake. This whole time I thought that my layer shift caused my problems here, but in actuality I got it together upside down. And I can tell that because I'm about to put these lights in it and make it glow up, and some of my holes are on the top and some of them are on the bottom. So that means that this is put together upside down, and that's why I've got this little offset and this didn't fit correctly. And this thing is glued together and it's going to be super hard to get off, so we're going to make the best of a bad situation, continue on with the mistakes and all, and I'm just going to use a drill this out. Oh well, let's get back at it. I made sure I picked up a ton of these Christmas lights during Christmas. I figured I'm going to be using these for a lot of projects. They're a really cheap way to get some LEDs and some switches and a battery box holder. Then I salvaged some Cat 5 wire for extra wiring for this. Guys, I do have a Patreon if you want to support the channel. Check it out, and if you like what you see, go ahead and join. Then I pulled some of the wires through the holes and wired in the battery box, started to wire in the green and red LEDs. Decided to use some aluminum tape to make a reflective surface just to help bounce that light around here on the side of this DVD display box. Some hot glue to glue the lights in place. And drill out the hole because I messed up and put it together upside down. Some quick set carpenter's glue. And then placed all the tiles on top, making sure I had them in the right direction. I only ended up using 4 out of the 6 that I printed because I didn't want this thing to be too huge and not fit on top of my shelf. Then I just lined up the hole on the bottom, drilled through the top of the tile so I can push the lights through and then install the red emergency lights. Then I just painted them to match. Wired up my switch to my battery box, put it through the cover here. Glued the batteries inside and made sure to position it so that I can still take the top off and take the batteries out if I ever need to change them. Then I glued the Alien logo in place. Now for the final assembly. I just used crazy glue here to make sure these things stayed in place. And here's a big pool of alien blood for the misprinted alien. Then I used my airbrush and some red contrast paint and just splattered these blood splatters kind of all over the place. And then did the same for the alien blood. That was way more than I anticipated, but it was pretty cool.